You have found Explorer Trek Adventure. I'm Kelly, this is Greg, and we cover everything camping from backpacking to adventure van. We're going to show you the 20 things that we've added or upgraded to the van. I'm going to show you 10, and then Greg's going to show you 10. We'll have affiliate links in the description below. There's no cost to you, but of course, if you click on them, they will help us out a bit.
One of the most important things is recovery gear. Kinetic line, we've got some soft shackles, and then we also keep our recovery hitch point here. But the most important thing are the action tracks, and they're mounted up on an agile off-road mount. We chose the action tracks because this van is extremely heavy, and those action tracks can bend and fold, unlike some of the other ones that when they bend, they'll break. And we chose the side mount because that's going to give us a room up at the top if we wanted to add an extra box. We'll be doing an in-depth video on all the different recovery gear and why we chose it later on.
Number one for me is a microwave. I didn't actually think I would want one, but it has been a lifesaver. Some people might think it's kind of silly to have a microwave, but when you're out all day and you want to quick eat something, it's nice being able to pop your leftovers in the microwave. Another nice bonus is like you can get these rice packets. Only takes 1:30 in the microwave, and they can be stored in your cupboard as well. Want a late night stack of popcorn? You can just pop it in the microwave. It actually has been a really great addition having the microwave to our van.
These vans are super tall, and it's really hard to reach stuff high up, and so what we added was this Harbor Freight rear step. Why we chose this one versus the other ones is this one is kind of a plastic material. I was kind of hoping for a rubber one, but this will do. What we didn't want was a metal one. The very first thing people do, you end up smashing your leg into it. This should prevent some bloodshed. Pretty simple, it just attaches with a regular hitch pin. This comes in super handy when you're trying to do this rear roll up, because now you can just step on this and easily grab each corner and pull it down. Before we had this, I was trying to step on this little section here, and that was just like moments away from an accident.
Everybody uses paper towels, but where are you gonna put them? You have a limited amount of counter space. So we actually found this cool magnetic paper towel holder. It has a ratchet, so when you're driving along, you're not going to be flinging paper towels everywhere. And you just pull it once, get limited amount, get what you need, done.
Next up, we have a skid plate, which is super important if you have a Sprinter van. If we look down under the van, you can see the rear differential cover, and that thing hangs down lower than the differential itself. So if you hit rocks or even dirt, that thing can peel back and you'll lose all your oil, leaving you stranded. You have two options. You either have your skid plate or you can get a rear diff cover. We opted for the skid plate as it protects some of the other stuff. I'm not a super mechanically inclined person, and I was able to install that, so it tells you it's a little easy. Although easy, it definitely took way longer than I thought. You have to kind of muscle it up into place.
Next up, we have the Van Essentials fan cover, because this thing is noisy, especially when you're driving down the road. This not only helps insulate it and keep out cold air, but it also helps keep out the noise. And it is so easy to install. It's just magnetic. If you want just partially open, it folds into itself and it will stay right on top. Or if you wanted to take it off and have it completely open, you just take it off and we store it right up there, out of the way.
Next up, we have motion activated lights for two areas. The first one is the cupboard, which you can see just light pops right on and it lights up the area. This area is remarkably dark when you're in here. The cool thing about this is you can just grab it and it pops right off. You can see here, this is where the magnets apply and they're just attached to the ceiling there. There's a little motion sensor and you can click it on motion or just full on. It'll also only turn on if it's dark out, so it'll help save battery. Easily recharges with USB-C. The second place we added a light is in here. Yes, we can use this one, but this one, when you get up in the middle of the night and you come in here, the light just pops on automatically. You don't have to worry about it. The other added features, when you close the door, you don't have to remember to turn the light off and go all the way back in there and then like wonder if you've turned the light off. It just turns itself off.
This next one applies to all vans, and of course, especially the Revel. It came with an induction stove that took up this whole entire drawer, and it was such a waste of perfectly good storage space. So we ended up getting a new wave induction stove. And as Greg always likes to point out, it is shaped like the Millennium Falcon. It has this cover that we bought separately, of course, so that we can just shove it into the cupboard. Honestly, it works just the same as the other one, but takes up half the space. Next up, pots and pans. We have a limited amount of space, so we had to find something that was stackable and did not have a handle. And these pots and pans click every box. Nestle inside of themselves, and the handle is detachable. So So it actually clips on. You got your handle in your pot. Pop it off. And this handle works for every single one of them. They're non-stick, so they are easy to clean up. Another nice feature is they come with these extra lids. So once you're done cooking, if you have leftovers, you can pop them right on. That way you don't have to have a whole extra container for leftovers, and then you can pop it right into your fridge. These are also specially made for induction stoves, and we found that they have worked great.
Next up, we have the rear living area. And with the Revel, there's not a lot of space in there, so we added a bench to the back. Let me show you. We found this bench on Amazon and it totally fit the bill. It is almost like it was made to fit this space. There's a lot of different options you have out there. There's some pretty expensive options out there that are really well made. We just didn't have the funding for something like that. I wanted to find a bench that had metal supports and that was super, super sturdy. That was kind of the #1 thing. And if you look at this thing, I mean, you could fit probably 10 people on here. It's not going anywhere. We find this cushion top to be pretty comfortable, and we can fit multiple people in here. I think we could actually fit 3 people in here if we wanted to. I don't think we would, but we could. I also wanted something that this microwave would fit in there, and it just barely fits in here. It does come with these storage bins in here. They're not made for what we're doing. I'm keeping our recovery gear in here until we get an outside box. So these will eventually be replaced with something else, but it does come with these boxes that you could use. That leads right into my next one, is this Lagoon style table. It's not a Lagoon table, it's made by somebody else. In order to install this, I mounted a piece of wood back here, and actually is a really sturdy connection. This table leg bolts in here, and there's a plate on the other side. We added these straps that hold the table, and it doesn't move while we're going down the road. And the nice thing is when you put the table in here, you can close this door and there's totally enough space. You don't have to worry about that. You can see here, this probably looks familiar if you're a Revel owner. These are the shelves that came in the shower area. We cut one in half because we're not using them in the shower, and it's just a lightweight tabletop. When you're ready to put on the table, it just has a hole here that you slide on, and you can tighten it down here if you want to. The whole thing pivots on each side. You can slide it out of the way when the doors are closed. You can have that there and have it still installed. When you're in, you're ready to come use it, whether you're going to eat dinner or do some work. Pivot over. The thing I like the most about this whole bench system, the table, the bench, and the microwave, it was all around 300 bucks. So you really can't beat it.
Next up is the shelf replacements in this cupboard. They only came with 2, and luckily someone, I'm not sure, online found these things and they fit perfect. Not only that, there's 4 of them, so they added to our shelf, and they have a lip, so that way we're not worrying about anything flying out. They use the existing hardware. When you go in to install them, they are going to be super tight, but just push them in there, they do fit.
Next up is wood storage. As you can see right now, we do not have external boxes or carriers where we could potentially put firewood. So we have our wood storage bag, and we just store that right in here. It keeps the inside of your van clean. Wood is dirty. We also keep our hatchet, we keep our fire starter, and we like to throw some kindling in there to make sure we can always start fire.
Next up, shoe storage. Everybody has shoes, and most likely more than 1 pair. So we added these Ikea storage containers. So anytime we take off a pair of shoes, we toss it up there, and we have plenty of space now on the floor, not having to worry about shoes. On a side note, Ikea makes these other little organizers. There's a bunch of them, all different sizes, and they work great. Next up, since we have all the space for our drawers, since we don't have to do our induction stove in here, are these little tote containers. Actually, I followed the Go Clean lady on Instagram, and she mentioned these, and I'm like, oh, that would work perfect in here. They came in all different sizes. You got your little tiny ones, you got your medium size, and bigger one. They have these little grippies on the bottom, so they won't be sliding everywhere. They stay in place.
Next up, we have floor mats. Some of the floor mats you'll find out there, they're rubber, but they're super hard. These are actual Mercedes floor mats that are made for this van. The nice thing is you can see there's a spot where they'll plug into here and here. And it pops right into place, and it's not gonna go anywhere. And they're super soft. They have a nice little lip to keep all the junk in place. Really like them.
I am a tea drinker, and so I need hot water. And something that will fit in our cupboard easily. We have this little portable kettle. I know there's a lot of plastic ones out there that you can smash down, but I didn't want something that tasted like plastic and didn't have like the cord sticking out of it. This one actually has its own little heat pad. Put it on there, pops in. It's metal or stainless steel. Works really great. Heats up water fast. I think it takes, for a cup, it was under 2 minutes. And it is really conveniently sized. Having this means that I don't have to get out the stove, get a pot, heat it up, and it's only 800 watts, so it works on the inverter.
Next up, we have a mini shovel, and this has multiple purposes. One of the main purposes is help to recovery in sandy situations. If you get stuck, you can dig yourself out. It's actually a pretty nice size. It's not super huge. This also works really well if you need to dig a cat hole out in the woods. The thing I like the most about this is this one does not suffer from the overland or van tax. And this was like $8 at Harbor Freight. Super cheap. I've seen shovels that were upwards of $300. This is $8.
We love the Revel, but it is a sea of gray in here. So we wanted to spruce it up and add a little flavor to it. So we added a faux wood backsplash. It's their tiles that just stick in place. This looks really nice and we actually really love it, but it was a pain to install. If you're gonna do this, just set aside enough time, that much more time than you actually think you're gonna need.
Last but not least, water storage for drinking. The Revel comes with a big storage tank for water, but we don't have a UV filter for it, so we're not currently drinking the water out of there. What we're doing for storage for water is we have the Dometic jug. And this thing actually has been pretty handy. We originally purchased this one for having in our rooftop pit trailer, and we kind of use it for pretty much every time we go camping, we use this for our water storage. There's a couple advantages of having a remote water storage. If you needed to fill this up, you can actually take this jug into somebody's house or into the store and fill it up there. This one has multiple ways of getting water out. They have this little faucet thing here, and you just tap twice. It makes filling stuff up and getting water out super easy. If you can look here, there's a light there, so when you turn it on, it turns on, which is actually super nice when you're in the van in the back and everything's dark and you need to get a little bit of water. If you also need to get a bunch of water out, they have this other opening here you can use. I know it's just a water jug, but they put a lot of thought into it. It's got these two super strong handles right here. If you notice here, there's a cutout, so you can actually strap this thing down if you wanted to. When you grab this to pour it, where are you gonna grab? You're gonna grab right there, and guess what? They have a little indentation for your hand. It's the little things. Make all the difference though.
Hope you found that helpful. Go check out this video next. You can find us at exploretrekadventure.com, and we'll see you next time.